Green light, they're away.
And they're all in their positions, ready to go. There's the light up.
In true Mildura style.
The green light's on. It was a beautiful start.
He's trying to get across.
The Sportsbet Victoria Cup is upon us, one of the greatest nights of harness racing anywhere in the country. And we've got a special edition of Burning Questions to help preview it. Three panellists, as always. Let's start with Josh Jenkins, who joins us courtesy of Sportsbet. JJ, you've been immersed in the AFL trade period over the last couple of weeks, but it must be nice to get that behind you, get the form guide out and try and find a few winners at Melton on Saturday night.
Yeah, spot on. I'm dead set sick of the trade period, so I'm glad it's in the rearview mirror. It's enormous. It's a monstrous beast these days. But yeah, massive weekend of racing, Tim, in both codes, or all three codes, to be fair. And
you'll be at Melton Saturday night after leaving Caulfield?
Yes, I'll be looking for the slingshot from Caulfield Racecourse to out to Melton. So it's a trip I've done a few times. I got there by about race 3 last year. I reckon I can get there by race 2 this year.
Okay, we'll test that gate speed of yours straight out of the gates at Caulfield. We'll go to Darren Carroll here. It wouldn't be a Burning Questions episode. It wouldn't be a proper one without getting the GOAT, as Gareth Hall would say, the GOAT of harness racing tipping to join us. Daz, great to be witnessing you on track for a Victoria Cup because it's been a while. Usually Manangatang takes your attention at this time of year.
Yeah, rare occasions I've attended. I think I had a horse running a couple of years ago and went to Vic Cup, but yeah, can't wait. It's what I suppose we refer it in racing equivalents to the Cox Plate. It's certainly the race that we want to win, I suppose, and now it's packed full of goodies, I suppose, with the Oaks and the Derby and, the elite trotters as well. So it's an exciting night's racing.
Yeah, can't wait to see you on track. And we had to bring a man on who's actually won the Victoria Cup. We sit back and watch it and try and find the winner and talk about how good it is. But Andy Gath's won it 2012 with Caribbean Blaster. What are your memories of that race, Andy?
Yeah, no, it was great memories. Obviously, we drew barrier 13, which wasn't great, but there was a fast lead time, which I think still stands. So probably helped us win the race. And yeah, if you ever drive into my place and you see the sign at the front, it's Caribbean Blaster winning the big cup. So that was a great memory.
What was the lead time, Andy?
41.9.
Wow, 41.9. 41.9. Are we thinking something similar this year or 42.9 maybe?
Hopefully 46. In fact, I'm drawn one.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Hey, let's get stuck right into it. An awesome card of racing. 9 races on the program and 5 of them Group 1s. APG's yearling sale dates for 2026 are locked in back in 5 states this year and coinciding with some of the biggest events in harness racing with the Melbourne sale on Hunter Cup weekend and the Sydney sale on Miracle Mile weekend. The APG sales are the place to be in 2026. Head to apgold.com.au for all the details. Larry is the undisputed champ, but from 8, are you in his camp? We're talking about the Sportsbet Victoria Cup over the 2240 metres, race 6 at 9:22 p.m. We're talking about horse 8, Leap to Fame for Grant Dixon. He's been taken on, JJ, by the Sportsbet traders. Some providers have him around the $1.60, $1.70 mark. But your guys, $1.90. I reckon you'll get some big bets come race time.
Yeah, well, we're going to sponsor the race. We're going to let the punters on. And, I was tossing and turning last night in bed wondering whether I'll be with him or against him because it is always tempting, isn't it, when you see horses at big prices and they've got a great chance, and particularly in the trots when that barrier draws can be even more important than the gallop. So I reckon you'll see him get to $2 something across the day, maybe even close to the jump. I think the traders will be keen to take him on and try and tempt a few punters in to a few other horses. So it's going to be fascinating to see what the market does.
Yeah. When you were tossing and turning, which way did you get out of bed? Was it on the yes, I'm with Larry, or the no, I'm against him?
Well, to be honest, I've sided with him for maybe a different reason. I've probably gone away from the form book a little bit, and I thought, well, if I'm going to probably a glass half empty approach, if I'm going to be beaten, would I rather be beaten in his camp or being beaten by him? And I'd rather be, if I lose my cash in the Sportsbet Victoria Cup, I'd rather someone beats me and Leap to Fame. So I'm going to be with him. Around $2 is more than fair. So if Catch a Wave or someone else in the race beats me, so be it. I've sided with the champ, and we go down together. Versus taking him on, seeing him get off the fence straight away, and you're in some trouble. So I'm going to be with the champion.
Yeah, I really like your thought process there. And do you reckon there'll be some Gallops punters, putting together a multi with Car Ying Rising, something in the Caulfield Cup? I think is it half yours, the favourite there, and rolling it into Leap to Fame?
Yeah, make sure you check out the Sportsbet app across the day, maybe even Friday night, because we're going to try and roll a few of those, Gallop shorties, and even the favourite in the Caulfield Cup of Place into Leap to Fame, into a few others, into Keyang Zahara as well. So make sure you check out the app for a few of those specials where you can get involved in both codes and have a horse running. Hopefully have Leap to Fame and Keyang Zahara and a few others running at much bigger odds if we can get it right in the gallops.
Great stuff. We'll go to Andy Gath here, who has a hand in the race. He trains Catch a Wave. Kate Gath will drive. He is the third elect with Sportsbet at $4.80 on the fixed odds. As I said, $1.90 for Leap to Fame and $4.40 for Kingman, barrier 4. Andy, I reckon you would have been pretty happy, even though you might have been tucked up in a hospital bed after having some surgery. You've been pretty happy when the marbles fell your way?
Yeah, no, definitely. Obviously, anytime you take on Leap to Fame, when he does get beat, it's very rare, but it's generally a horse that's on the fence that beats him. So we had to draw to be on the fence, and we've got that luxury of being on the fence. Obviously, barrier 1, he's going to have to earn his stripes anyway to get a lot of speed outside him, and a lot of horses will be taking him on. And, some people might assume he might hand up. So we really got no tactics at this stage rather than Kate come out the first 200 metres and make sure she does lead and then gives her options. But we did hold up in the Fremantle Cup over 2,900. So, I heard Luke McCarthy get interviewed the other day. He thought if my name is Jeff Laird, he'd probably hand up to Kingman. So we probably don't want to be 3 fence. So we might take luck out of it and see if we can go all the way. Who knows? But, the horse is in great order. Couldn't be any happier with him. Obviously, we're taking an absolute champion, Leap to Fame. I know he got beat last week, but he got in late on a late night flight on a Friday. So he would have been off a little bit. I think it's 2 years since he's gone back-to-back, losing 2 in a row. So you take him on, at your peril. He's such a great horse. The race probably lacks a little bit of depth on previous years, but it's still an intriguing race and great to be part of it. And, yeah, hopefully I'm pretty sure my bloke will be fighting at the finish either way.
Yeah. Andy, another question on the gate speed in the early part of the race. Do you think Catch a Wave has the speed to naturally hold up and then you get to dictate, or do you think he could be crossed on his merits?
I'll be surprised if anything can cross him. He's a really fast horse, and he's sort of, there's been times he probably hasn't sort of run the gate, but the last few times he's doing the front row. Kate said all he wants to do is get on with the job. So I'm sure he run the gate pretty fast on Saturday night. The only way, people will cross him if Kate decides to let something go, I suppose.
Yeah. Okay. Couldn't be happier with him, though?
No, he's in great order. It's the best I've had him for a long time, and he's going to have to be. Anytime you take on Leap to Fame, you've got to be 100%, and you've got to hope he's about 95%.
Yeah, good stuff. Good luck in the Sportsbet Victoria Cup. We'll go to Darren Carroll for his thoughts. Daz, we've spoken a couple of times this week about possible scenarios. There's probably a scenario or two that we haven't even discussed. So it's a fascinating race. Which corner are you in, with Larry or against him?
Yeah, Andy made some really good points and probably summed it up perfectly as far as Larry, and hadn't been beaten back-to-back for 2 years. So you just got an amazing respect for the horse. Everyone, a lot of really, really good judges tell you that he's the best horse they've seen. If he's the best horse we've seen, and we're going to get around about even money, then we just got to take that advantage, I think. I'm not that concerned about barrier 8. Barrier 8's given us a price, I suppose. If there is a little bit of a tussle early for the supremacy as to who leads, that's just going to advantage Larry. If they overdo it early in the lead time, anywhere, around about 43 or so, then Larry will just get around to the death and he'll dictate from there and do his stuff. So I do agree with Andy, though. I looked at last year's event, for instance, and you want to be pegs if they're going, if Larry's in the race and putting the pressure on, pegs is the place to be. So I've probably only got two realistic chances, and that is Leap to Fame clearly on top, and then I've got Tex because I've got so much respect for him to be the danger. But I'm clearly in the camp of Larry.
Yeah, me too. And I really like what JJ said there. It'd really hurt me if I backed something else and he rolled around to the chair and put him away. I'd rather back him, and if I do my money, I do it. It's a good theory, and I think I agree with you. I just don't think, Andy, I don't think there's a lot of depth in this. There's only 4 Group 1 winners in the race. I went right the way through them. Catcher Waves won 8, Larry's won 12. I think Bay of Biscay's won 2, and See Your Arts won the other at 100 to 1. So, you would think, I'll go back to you, Daz, you would think the class runners would come to the fore here.
You would, but then you only got to go back 2 years, and we had that blanket finish where they all finished across the track, which was probably, a race of decades. So, there's a couple of blowout chances, but it would surprise me. But there's some massive odds.
Yeah, and they should be. Can't wait for it. That's the Sportsbet Victoria Cup Race 6 at 9:22 p.m. Pride's Easy Feed stand as a proud supporter of the harness racing industry with their set recipes and quality ingredients to give the trainer confidence in what they're feeding. So make the switch to Pride's and start getting the result you've been chasing. Now, I've done this well. I've actually made the Pride's Easy Feed Victoria Oaks the subject of this question. The Oaks is a wide open event, so how is our money best spent? Race 3 on the program. Andy, I'll come straight to you here quickly. You've got My Little Bodra on the pole again, so you've done well there. She probably needed the pole, though. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, no, definitely. She's obviously our class. There's probably about 3 or 4 that are clearly better than her. She could run 4th or 5th. Be a great effort by her. But yeah, it's probably a little bit thin, the Oaks this year. I think there's probably 4 realistic chances to 4 that are in the market. But Zahara Americana, she's a quality filly. She was good in the heat. Got a back row draw. She's really highly rated horse. I think she's rated 117, so she's nearly a 3-4 class already. So I think she's the one to beat. But I just think Soap and Bubbles, if it can lead and get it sort of settled, she can over race a little bit. I think each way she's probably the way to go because you know where she's going to be in the run. Where the other one's off the back row, going to have to do some work at some stage.
Yeah, I like what you're thinking there. Probably leaning her way as well. I'll come to you here, Daz. We spoke about the Oaks being a really wide open race with only the 2 heats and not a lot of depth. And a couple of the key chances are drawn on the back row to make it even more intriguing here in the final.
Yeah, I think there's probably 5 realistic chances. Soap and Bubbles does look the initial leader, but I had So Americano trailing through. Distinct advantage over all the other back row runners. I saw Luke being very aggressive, and I actually had So Americano finding the lead after a lap. I just thought Soap and Bubbles would be happy to take a sit on a class horse like that. She's had 2 runs back from a let up from a Queensland campaign, which was outstanding. I think if she finds the front, then clearly the one to beat and one of the better bets of the night for mine.
Yeah, actually, the more you say it, I reckon they would be happy to take a sit, just knowing that Soap and Bubbles is a fast horse. They might fancy their chance of trying to knock off Soho Americano by handing up to it.
Yeah, she pinged for about 200 metres last week, Soap and Bubbles, sort of moved into it. But her work, late in the straight probably wasn't as strong. But, yeah, that was my feel and my read on the race and how I mapped it.
Over to you, JJ. What are your thoughts on a really wide-open Victoria Oaks final?
Yeah, I was thinking we might see better than $2.30 about Soho Americano. But, I think if most people, if the smart punters think that she's going to be able to punch through and get handy, then we mightn't see much better than sort of $2.40, $2.50. If she got out toward $3, I'd be keen to play. I like the fact that Luke McCarthy's driving her. He makes great decisions 99 times out of 100. So, look, can she win from the breeze? I doubt it. But I want to be with fillies and the same for the boys in the Derby, to be honest, that I know can get the 2,700 metres. I think that's a massive factor here. There'll be probably 3 or 4 horses who just don't get the trip. So I want to be with a horse that can get the trip. And look, if we end up Soho Americano finds the top and Soap and Bubbles can trail, if we think that's a realistic proposition, then we might just make things nice and simple and take the Quinella.
Yeah, I like it. That's the Victoria Oaks. I think we've nailed that one. All sorted there. You'd be happy to run 3rd, Andy? That'd be a good result.
Yeah, no. Give me 3rd now. I'll take it.
Yep. Logical Staffing Solutions provide labour hire and recruitment services to the transport, warehousing, automotive and manufacturing industries. The logical solution for your staffing needs. The Derby was always going to have a fascinating draw. So from the pole, is Fox Dan ready to lay down the law. Foxdown for Emma Stewart. Ryan Sanderson takes the drive there. Let's take a quick look at the market. It is the first leg of the main quaddie, race number 5. Sportsbet have Foxdown at 260. Plenty of chances though. 550 for Fatal Weights from Barrier 11. 850 for the 2 Our Sweet Delight. Plenty of each way plays there if you fancy one. So we might talk more about that with JJ in a moment. I'll come straight to you here, Andy, again. You've got a runner here in My Ultimate Barney who was very brave in a heat. He led and was just nailed late by Foxdown. He's in great form. He ran that slashing 25 flat final quarter there up at Wagga a couple of weeks ago. He's a horse in really good form, but you're going to need the tempo right on to give yourself a winning chance, I'd say.
Yeah, there's no doubt. It's not the only horse in this race that's in great form. I think everything in it was very hard to find horses that couldn't win the race when I looked through it. So there's no doubt Foxdown is going unbelievably well. All his runs, this preparation been great. His run in Eureka was terrific, and he was terrific last week, breezing. And it was really windy too. So, he's going to have to, even though he's drawn barrier 1, there's a lot of speed outside him. We saw a quick final deadline come out last week. So, he's really going to have to muster to hold his spot, and, good chance he could get buried on the fence. So, he's definitely the one to beat, but I think a lot of horses in this race, Team Ultimate Barney, I think, it's the second outside of the field, and a lot of these horses are going to drift and get out really good odds that you could have, multiple bets in the race that, at good odds and still be a winning hope, just depending on tempo. So it's going to be a great race to watch, and fortunate to be part of it. And I'm sure my horse, if things go right, he needs everything to go right, but he's still capable of winning. He's a quality horse and still on the way up. So it's a great version of the Derby, and it's going to be a great race. And it's good to get these races where there's not a short price favourite in it, and someone just rolls to the top and just walks and makes a procession of it. So it's going to be a quality viewing race and betting race as well.
Yeah, I agree. We'll come to you here, JJ. Been any movement at all? It was one of those races where the barrier draw was going to be crucial, and probably the one that a lot of punters fancied out of the heats has drawn the pole. But he's not a certainty to lead, and he could get buried away, as Andy said.
Yeah, I think the market will be another great tell here as to what it thinks will happen at the start. We put him up $3. They took that straight away. He's into $2.60. And probably on the night, he won't get out to much bigger than that. A lot of casual punters, of course, know Emma Stewart and are going to be able to be recognisable with that name. So I doubt he's going to get out to a big price. I didn't mind. I probably wanted to find Fatal Weights, but at $5.50 off the back road draw, as Andy said, if he gets out to $8 or $9, I could certainly step in and have a couple of bets in the race. I'm probably happy to settle with. Again, I want to be with a horse I know can get the trip. I'm happy to be with Hesitate, who $13 I think represents pretty good value. I doubt he's the best horse in the race, but I just think there's a chance he ends up in the 1-1. He gets a lovely trip and he gets his crack at them. And look, I wonder whether Luke was, pretty kind to him since the Eureka. It was a big race to be in. Maybe the same goes for Foxdown, but we're getting triple the price here. So I'm happy to be with Hesitate each way in a pretty even race.
Okay, a bit of value there for JJ Daz. Ryan Sanderson takes the drive with Foxdown, a good friend of the show, a good friend of harness racing. He's looking for his first Group 1. Do you reckon he gets it here?
Look, the reason this race is so good is that we had 3 heats last week, and every runner in this race deserved their spot in the final. So we talk a lot about heat racing before, but these top 4 in every of the heats just chock full of class. Like even horses like Captain Perfect, we haven't even mentioned him, and he was outstanding last week, I thought. And if they overdo it, then he's the one at the blowout chance that might get out to big odds. The start is just all important, really critical here. Final deadline's the crucial runner in the race because he's got so much speed, but from what we've seen of him, he's a hand-up horse, so everyone's going to be onto that, and that includes Ryan on Foxdown, but also Cameron Hart on Our Sweet Delight. Other than that, you've got Sanchez, Hesitate, and Sagano. I reckon they'd all take sits, so everyone's going to be onto that. I've had a good look at Foxdown, and I'll go back to a race I think it was at Bathurst, going back about 5 or 6 starts ago or more. He drew the pole that day, and he mustered up really well from that draw. It's going to be really hard to hold out final deadline, but I don't see anything else crossing him. It's just a matter of whether final deadline can cross. And then it's dangerous territory for Ryan if our Sweet Delight's at his wheel and he can't get out because he'll be 3 fence then. So first 150 metres, critical to this result. I've got Fox down on top, but I'm just a little bit concerned about the map. That's the only reason why I don't have him clearly on top, but I'm still going to go with him.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Fox down. A horse that I wasn't real keen on, Daz, just before we move on to the fourth and final question. I hadn't been really keen on him until about the last 2 weeks, and it's number 8, It's Confidential. He could lob in a lovely spot on the fence, and I thought he was really brave in the heat, and he was, of course, a big odds winner to start to go up Melton in behind the leader there. So he's one of many chances at odds.
Yeah, and we talk about pegs, and especially pegs over 27.60. And again, if they overdo it, it will be interesting. So, the lead time, well, I think we've seen in these that in the heats of both the Derbies and Oaks in previous years, the heats have gone in slow times, but then come final night, it's a totally different ball game, and you have to be a serious horse to be able to lead all the way.
We'll talk more about quaddies at the end of the show, but it's shapes as a race where you would take one out with Fox down or a couple of options with him, and then you probably go wide in some of your alternate quaddies.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, let's move on to the fourth and final question. Zahara was incredible. First up from a break. So will she leave the Bill Collins field in her wake? Race 4, the Aldebaran Park Bill Collins Trotter Sprinter Group 1 event, $60,000 over the 1720. And the horse we're focusing on here is number 4, Kiang Zahara for Team Lee. Jason Lee takes the drive. JJ, I'll come straight to you here. What price have the traders at Sportsbet got the mighty mare?
Yeah, we've been generous, $1.35. So, I mean, how could she be anything north of that based on what she did last week? That was breathtaking. I mean, it was just an athlete going into power drive or overdrive and putting the NOS on, because it was just sustained speed, sustained power, and it was an incredible performance. I probably thought, sometimes Andy can speak to this a lot better than I can, that's for sure. But, horses fresh, feel themselves and are ready to rock and roll, and they can put in a performance like that. I wonder if, she got a few aches and pains second time round after a bit of a break. You wonder about that. But based on what we saw last week, how can you be against her? I know there's a bit of a spruik around for the stablemate, but again, similarly to the Leap to Fame method, I'd rather go down with her because she looks like one of the best we've ever seen.
Yeah, we'll come straight to you here, Andy. You're not involved in the race. I'd love your thoughts on what Kiang Zahara did last Saturday night. Darren and I'll talk about our experience watching her, but not many horses can do that. In your mind, is she one of the best you've seen? I know we don't want to jump ahead and say the greatest of all time, but on ability, is she right up there?
Oh, there's no doubt. And you're watching the race live. I didn't think she was a winning hope at all. And then by the home straight, the race was over. It's just an unbelievable performance. And just getting back to what JJ said about her backing up, they weren't, the lead camp, they said that if she hasn't put up well, they probably wouldn't run her. So obviously the fact that they got her in, they're happy with her. And she had a great grounding going into that race first up, plenty of trials, plenty of work. They've been very patient with her. So I'm sure she had the foundation that she'd pull up well from it. So I'd have no expectations that she'd go below her best on Saturday night. Obviously the stablemate's really good, but I'm pretty sure the stablemate couldn't do what Zahara done last week. So I'm in the Kiang Zahara camp. And yeah, again, there's been 3 or 4 or 5 performances throughout her career that you think, it is unbelievable, astonishing what she can do. So, hopefully she can stay sound and stay on the racetrack for a long time, and she could be one of the better ones we've ever seen. Yeah,
as you said, Andy, watching the race, like when she comes solo in the running line from the last lap, you see it a lot. Horses get up to the wheel of an RC Phoenix, and you would think, that's where it gets tough. But she just went past him like he was not glued to the fence, but it just went past him like he was significantly inferior.
Well, those really good horses make really good horses look second rate, and she made RC Phoenix look second rate, which we know he isn't.
Yeah, Inter Dominion champion. Daz, I reckon we were eating our meat and chips at Manangatang races, had the phone out, and I reckon we both said RC Phoenix would be $1.50 in the run, $1.40 in the run. She would have definitely been. I've heard a couple of people might have snapped up the $3 in the run, so it was an incredible performance.
Yeah, amazing, and just showcases the talent that we've got on the night that we're talking about, Leap to Fame and King Zahara, and both in the same night. So what a night's going to be. But yeah, she was just outstanding and everything that we hoped that she would be, I suppose. A lot of talk around about tactics and things like that, but I can't have any scenario where she doesn't find the front and work to the front. And if she works to the front, then $1.35 is a good price, isn't it? Like, really, even if she's in the death. But I just don't see that happening. I think she'll find the lead and she'll win like we expect her to win.
Have you got an opinion on who might get to the front before her?
There's a lot of talk about Stuka and Ballerini. I thought Ballerini probably would have enough to kick through. Nathan might have a bit of a go on Derek the Jet, but they look like they've got fairly even gate speed to me. And whether Nathan really wants to burn all his tickets by doing that, and a horse he wants to look after, fairly early in its preparation. So my gut feel was that Ballerini would probably lead and then take a sit. But whichever way you look at it, the camp's got all the aces, in my opinion.
Yeah, I've sort of spoken a lot about how I thought Ballerini might be right up there, maybe even better than Zahara, but I might just take a step back from that opinion after seeing what she did on Saturday night. I still wonder whether Zahara could sit outside her off a soft tempo and out sprint her. I'm not sure about that, but if there's any kind of tempo, particularly if she finds the front, they won't beat her. Daz, on a night where you can take a few variations in your quaddies, is there any quaddie you'll be taking, an early quaddie where you won't be one out Kiang Zahara? Are you taking any insurance at all?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think I will. Hey, that's been a great little preview of 4 of the 5 big Group 1s. JJ, I reckon you've been on Burning Questions before. It's been a while, though. You make your name for yourself by getting a best bet home, thanks to Sharp's Bakery there in Birchip, great sponsors of the show. Who are you with for your best bet? Where are you investing your hard-earned cash?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to be Robinson Crusoe, but I'm going to stick with the superstar. He's the horse most people will be going to Melton to watch. Andy will be going there to beat him and upstage him, and good luck to him. But $2 plus, I'll be with Leap to Fame all night long. His record at Melton is probably the worst record of anywhere, but it's still pretty good. So I'm more than happy to be with Leap to Fame at $2 or north of $2. I'm all in.
Okay, Leap to Fame for JJ, race 6, number 8. Andy, best bet on Saturday night, please.
Yeah, I'm not going to go with one of mine. I'll go second last race, number 7, Hiss.
Yes, big fan of this horse. $1.90, happy with that? You might get I think it was $2.30 early in the week.
Yeah, it wasn't me that took the price, but yeah, $1.90 still pretty good, I reckon.
I know you don't come on the show every single week, Andy, but have you been keeping tabs on the little streak that I'm building here with the best bets?
Only through your text messages is the only reason I'm aware of it.
What did you say you're up to, Top?
I actually don't know, but I reckon it's at least 3. Anyway, I'm obviously going to curse myself now, but I'm with JJ. I'll go Leap to Fame as my best as well. Race 6, number 8. I can't believe we're getting $2, but I want to be a part of that $2. So Leap to Fame for me as well. Daz, I get the feeling, did you allude to it before with Soho Americano?
Yeah, I'm going to go the Oaks. If I got the map right, I reckon I'll get the result right. So it's just a matter of whether I get that map right or not. Race 3, number 9, Soho Americano for me.
Good stuff. Hey, before we say goodbye, a $50,000 jackpot on the early quaddie on Saturday night. That's races 1 to 4. A projected pool of $250K, and a $100,000 jackpot on the main quaddie. That's races 5 to 8, and a $500K projected pool. Daz, we've had a little bit of feedback, which we've taken on board, and I actually quite value it, about we should focus on some of these jackpots when we do Burning Questions. So have you got an early quaddie and a late quaddie that you could suggest to any of our viewers?
I think the good thing about the early and late quaddies, Toc, is that especially some of the smaller punters might want to back, the champions one out. So this way they can take the quaddies on early quaddies and anchor both those good horses. So that's what I'm doing in the early quaddie and late quaddie, and hopefully we get a result with anchoring the champs. So early quaddie, if you've got your pens there ready, I've got 6, 7, 10, 11. Second leg 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then 8 and 9, and we come home in 4 only. That's $40 for $1. So that's with Kiang Zahara one out. And then the main quaddies 1, 9, 11, 12, 13, into 8 only, into 3 only, into 1, 2, 5, 6, and 7. That's $25 for $1. So that's a good little way of having an investment. And yeah, the pools will be fantastic. They'll be massive, Toc.
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks for that, Daz. Appreciate your insights here on Burning Questions.
Thank you.
Andy, much appreciated as always. Are you going to be okay to get around the precinct on Saturday night?
Yeah, I'll be moving around, but not real quick. But hopefully I'll get better by then, but getting better every day. So, yeah, no, looking forward to it. It's a great meeting.
Good stuff. Catch a wave wins. You'll be the adrenaline will get you home, won't it?
Yeah, no, might even try and leap.
And JJ, really appreciate having you on and looking forward to seeing you on Saturday night.
Yeah, good to be involved. It was good to get the tap on the shoulder from Sportsbet to head on out and watch what's going to be a magnificent night. So can't wait to get out there.
And of course, for those that want to sit back after the Everest and the Caulfield Cup meetings, all the action, the wall-to-wall coverage from 6 p.m. right through to 10 p.m. will be on Channel 7, 7, 2 and 7 Plus. Of course, you can watch it on Sky Racing at thetrots.com.au. You can listen to it on RSN and SEN Track. There's so many ways to consume it, but I reckon the best way is to head out on track. Saturday, October 18, it is a Group 1 night. It's a Grand Circuit night for the Sportsbet Victoria Cup.
Green light, they're away.
And they're all in their positions, ready to go. There's the light up.
In true Mildura stock.
The green light's on. It was a beautiful start of.
He's trying to get